Welcome back to the channel, folks. This week we're taking this out, the Suzuki GSX S GT.
Down in the
Right then folks, we're here, John's of Romford, and there it is, GSX S GT. If you've not seen the GSX S1000 vid I did, well this is the sort of touring version of it. Nice looking bike, isn't it? Massive thanks to Nick and Mike here at John's of Romford for sorting me out. I've not even sat on this yet, folks, so here we go. Oh, it's quite nice. That's alright, you know. That is alright. Mirrors, God, the mirrors are quite far out. Not as in far out, dude, but as in far out. Okay, so I'll turn the key on. Typical Gixxer noise. It's nice that. I can almost feel at home. So we're in B modes, standard sort of Gixxer, it's got A, B and C modes, but let's cover that once we head off. So where are we going here? Okay, feels lovely and smooth. I tell you what, it looks enormous out the front here. The sort of real estate at the front, wow. You feel like you've got loads of bike going forward. The mirrors look way out the front, but it gives you really good vision behind. The throttle feels really nice and smooth actually in B mode. Nick over at John's of Romford there, he did say, because I was just going to whack it in A mode and off we go, but he did say try and B to begin with because the fueling is much smoother. Speaking of smooth, that the gear selection feels lovely and smooth. You know, it's not clunky. It's going to be typical Suzuki, isn't it? Oh, you can tell you're in Londinium. The smell of weed in the air. Now I connected up the Suzuki app to this because you can actually do navigation on your screen, you can do all sorts of stuff. But obviously I want to use Kalimoto, you can't integrate that with it. So I've not bothered using the app. But every time, because I have connected it previously, every time I switch the bike on, it's automatically trying to open up the app. If you do connect to the app originally and then decide you don't want to bother using it, then you'll have to remember to sort of remove that Bluetooth connection from your phone's history, otherwise it will constantly try and open it every time you switch the bike on. Anyway, so this is a typical Suzuki inline 4 engine. The fueling is beautiful, you know, for the towns and things like this that I'm doing here. There's no searching, there's no lurching, you can trundle along in third or fourth, whatever you like, sitting at 20s, 30s, 40s, and it just does it. What I will do, whack that now into A mode. Yeah, straight away you can feel there is a definite difference between A and B modes. I remember this from my Gixxer days. It's still the case. The fueling is definitely, the throttle response is definitely slightly dulled in B mode, and of course it will be even further dulled in C. A mode gives you everything. Speaking of everything, this thing has 150, around about 150 bhp. I think it says 152 PS on the website. I don't know why they started using PS all of a sudden, but anyway, that equates to roughly just under 150 bhp. It's got is it 106, I think, Newton meters of torque. I'll put it up on the screen if I was wrong. Speaking of which, seat height, I can't remember what it was, and weight, I can't remember, so I'll put them on the screen now as we're speaking. Those brakes felt just a little bit delayed in coming on there. I don't know if that was me or if that is just what the brakes are. Suzuki brakes are normally pretty damn good, unless you're spanking it hard, especially on the track, and then they certainly used to have a habit of sort of fading once they got very, very hot. But it certainly should not be an issue so far. Okay, we're going around to a left. Is it this left? Yes, I think it is. Not very well signposted, road closed, Saturday 20. That's not now, is it? Okay. Are we in Nationals? Get the bed! Yeah, this is fairly dynamic. Oh wow, where did that come from? This is almost like non-eventful, not just placid in the town at low revs and low speed. It's just nothing suggests this is underneath the skirt. Oh my god, oh dear, this could be fun. Alright, yeah, you know what I was saying about it not really being as engaging? Yeah, forget what, I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't listen to me. Road ahead closed. Yeah, but is it? Is it? Oh my god, it just wants to pull. There is no way I can show you what this bike can do on camera. It's just not, you can't do that. Well, let's just try and be sensible about this. Stick to road speeds-ish, kind of. A lot of crap on the road actually, after this rain. Suspension feels okay, soaking up a lot of these bumps quite nicely. Still is quite a bumpy ride, but then this is a very bumpy road. The suspension seems to be doing a fairly decent effort at keeping you sort of connected to the road, giving you lots of feedback. That's a really bit of bumpy road, to be honest. Fiddler's Hamlet. I know a few people who could live there. Quick shifter is lovely. You can turn the quick shifter on or off. Oh yeah, more than enough power on this. More than enough. Drop it to second gear and that's where you're going to get missile-like acceleration. Yeah, those brakes feel really quite spongy initially. The initial bite is almost like a non-event, to the point where you think, have I actually pulled the lever in? And then they kick in. It's only like, you know, it's just a slight delay, but it doesn't feel right to me. The GSX S1000 definitely did not have that. Now the levers feel nice. It's just typical Suzuki. If you've ridden any Suzukis, it's just typical Suzuki. There is a lot of pull there. The power delivery is pretty brutal until you learn the throttle. There is big surges of power, especially as you're pulling off. You know what I mean? Like there, you're coming away from being stationary, you twist on the throttle, you'll know about it. Certainly as you progress from first into second and then up second, third, lots of punch. Again, typical Suzuki in line 4. It's such a shame that there's a lot of snobbery, I think, around the Suzuki brand. It might be because the bikes are so reasonably priced that people automatically think they're going to be cheap and nasty. They're not at all. You know, you're getting a lot for your money. For your money, speaking of which, this starts, I think it's 11,799. Phone around, shop about. There are deals to be made. So far, comfort-wise, the only issue that's peeking over the parapet at the moment is I'm getting quite a bit of a vibration in my right hand, which admittedly sometimes may be quite nice. However, on this occasion, nah, I don't know if maybe I'm holding on to the bars too tight. I don't think I am. Gripping the tank with my legs, so I don't feel like I'm gripping the bars at all, to be perfectly honest with you. But that right hand is definitely going a little bit numb. There we go. Right, we're in second. Let's just hold it in second. Where are we? 4,000 revs. Ah, into a 40. It's okay. Can we hold it at 40? It's perfectly comfortable. I mean, this is an inline 4 engine. You know, this thing doesn't redline until 12,000 revs. That said, it still seems to have plenty of grunt low down in second gear. There still seems to be plenty of grunt, making it quite usable. But definitely second, third are your two main gears for this. Ooh, standard exhaust, that sounds pretty good. One thing I didn't like initially was the indicator button. It just felt in a bit of a weird position. Yeah, that engine does sound good, doesn't it? Imagine what that's going to sound like with like a Yoshi on it. Suzuki sounds so good with Yoshis. Decades and decades of R&D between the two of them. They really do sound good. I had a full Yoshi system once on one of my GSX-s, and I'm not kidding you. I had a chap called Ollie that used to work at Premier Motorcycles in West Wickham. Ollie's now like a mobile bike mechanic, actually. Knows his onions when it comes to Gixxers. Well, when I put that full system on, I took it in, and he had a little play with it, because he said, your fueling doesn't seem quite right. He had a little play, and when I came to pick the bike up, he just sort of looked at me and grinned, and he went, "You're going to have some fun with that." I'm not kidding you. That bike was the fastest GSX 1000 I have ever ridden. It was phenomenal. That's the one I did a couple of laps of the Nürburgring on, and then the day after threw myself off a mountain in Germany. And that was the end of that bike. But oh my god, it was phenomenal. Pegs on this, pegs don't feel bad at all. I don't feel like I'm sitting on my heels, you know, I don't feel like my feet are really high up. Feels good. It's a hard seat, but not to the detriment of my arse so far. Do you know, I definitely agree with Nick there about the engine modes A and B. You know, if you're in places like this, whack it in B mode, because A mode really is, it's very easy just to snatch the throttle. You go over a bump and the throttle response is so instant in A mode that you could find yourself jolting forward like that. I'm not going to listen to my own advice, I'm going to keep it in A mode. Having said that, looks like we've got quite a bit of town to come. Let's whack it in there. Right, that's me in B mode. Yeah, it's much more civilised, just much more civilised. Just sort of sat in second gear here. This is pretty much how I used to ride on my Gixxer. I just sit in second, occasionally up into third gear. But you get the best of everything here. You've got the best engine braking, you've got the best drive and performance for road speeds, obviously. And you get that nice scream of the engine as well, because the revs are up. And into a 30. Yeah, those brakes are really quite spongy. Wonder if braided lines would sort that. Nationals! Oh, am I doing a left here? I think I am. Yes, I am. Clavering. Now, does that cancel? These indicators cancel? No. Okay, so the indicators don't cancel. I thought they did. It's weird. Trying to look over the top of the fields there, see where the road goes, get some idea at least. It's quite a bumpy stretch of road, this. Now, handling wise, absolutely nothing has given me any cause of concern so far in terms of handling of this bike. The only niggle are the brakes. They just feel a little bit lapsadaisical, a little bit squidgy. The power, great. It's lovely, very usable. Out on the open roads, very usable. A mode is lush. As I said, in the towns, I'd whack it in B mode. It's not often I say that. I'm generally an advocate of just whack it in the most powerful mode and just moderate it with your throttle. But I do find as technology is developing, there is becoming, whoa, that caught me a little bit off guard. There is becoming, we're now getting much more discernible differences in the engine modes. It's not just it's not just things like this one. This one limits the acceleration over that one. Now it's things like, you know, the fueling alters, the actual throttle positioning, that seems to be altered. If you have semi-active suspension, that seems to have an input in it as well. So definitely on these more modern bikes, it can often be worth having a little play with the various different engine modes, etc., because they can have quite a discernible impact on the ride. And it can be so easy to switch between them. You can do it on the go a lot of times. With most bikes now, you can change modes on the go very easily. I'm quite glad those cameras ran out, actually. The helmet camera battery finished. I'm quite glad it did, because it allowed me to just have a little bit of a play off camera. Wow. Wow. This bike is fast. It's powerful. I just don't... It doesn't feel as good as the standard GSX-S does, in the sense of the GSX-S, it just seems to have much more usable power throughout the revs and throughout like second, third, fourth gear. This, it seems to be second and third, that's where your fun is. And again, you really do have to get the revs up. The standard model just seemed to, I don't know, just seemed more orientated for the road. Something that I have found is that it comes with a really nice, well-designed, watertight USB, or weatherproof should I say, USB power source there, so I can plug my phone in. More and more bikes out there are sort of advertising that they have connectivity with your phone. Well, if you do that, you've got to give us the option of, if not somewhere to put the phone, then certainly some way of charging the phone. And it does seem that manufacturers are sort of thinking along the same lines too. Into the 30 and brake. Now, I was really quite surprised to see that these are Brembo brakes. I've just jumped off and done all the beauty shots, which hopefully you've been seeing along the way here. Yeah, Brembo brakes. Wow, I never would have thought that. Just seems a bit of a hesitancy on the brakes. So hopefully there's a garage around the corner. Gulf, there we go. Beautiful, it's open, happy days. Whew, right, let's go and see what it takes. Need the key. Just put peasant fuel in. Do you know, I filled the tractor up last night. Where was I? South Nims Services, and it was 201 I think, or 204 maybe, for super unleaded. Unbelievable. 40 odd quid to fill up the GS, and that's the standard GS, that's not the Adventure. 20 litre tank. Ridiculous. Bear in mind we were nearly empty. How much have we got in here? 15 litres, so I'm assuming it's going to be like the Gixxer's 17 odd litre tank. I'm assuming. I'll put up on the screen if I'm wrong. Right, I do pay for my fuel. See you in a bit. Bloody thing. This is that issue I was telling you about, folks, with the Suzuki app. Once you've connected it to your phone, even if you're not using it, every time you switch the bike on, it will try and get you to start the app. Mega annoying. Anyway, first world problems and all. Sync them up, 1, 2, 3. So, nationals. We have a full tank of gas, saying the range is 149 miles. I've already seen a couple of the bike safe coppers coming into Finchinfield for their grub, so we'll have to be on reasonable behaviour. Just on a day with Rapid, with Ryan from Rapid Training. That, honestly, that was fantastic. That's some of the best road focused training I've had in a long time. Nationals. I know what I had to tell you. I was chatting about the seat before, saying how it felt okay. Well, after probably about an hour, 45 minutes, my bum was getting a little bit sore. I was sort of quite relieved to get off and do all the beauty shots. It's not horrendous by any stretch of the imagination, but it is like a sports focused seat. I would suggest. I've just come off the Honda NT1100. Now, yes, this and the Honda NT1100, they would be fairly well matched. I would say the Honda is actually more comfortable, more fun, I would say. This just has insane amounts of power. This really does have a lot of power, but that beautiful big parallel twin, I was just looking to see what options were up there, but that beautiful big parallel twin of the Honda, almost to its detriment. I thought it wasn't very engaging to begin with, but when I looked back and I was editing, I was like, bloody hell, this thing shifted, and it just didn't feel like it. But the more I rode it, so after I filmed that first ride review, the more I rode it, the more I fell for that bike. I think I would still take the RT over it, but the RT is probably twice the price. But certainly between this and the Honda NT1100, it would be the Honda for me. Probably a more comfortable seating position. This isn't uncomfortable, but the Honda just has an incredible seat. It's got a great big huge screen in front of it. You really are very well cocooned on the Honda. This has a more sportier riding position. The pegs feel a bit higher than the Hondas. I've got to admit, I don't like the orientation of the bike up front there. There seems to be loads of the bike still to come at the front. It just seems like loads of real estate out here. It seems massive. And the wing mirrors, just, I don't know, there's something about them that just annoy me. They're just sort of perched right out, way out the front there, like two little ant antennae. Speaking of looks, I don't think it's a bad looking bike, but weirdly, it looks, in my eyes anyway, it looks so much better with the luggage. This hasn't got luggage, and the back just seems naked. It looks like it's all tits and no ass. You know, when you look at it, there's just so much weight to the front and nothing on the arse of it. It's like it's got a flat bum. Speaking of luggage, doesn't come as standard, so you're gonna have to shell out, I think it's £1,000. NT1100, from what I remember, I think the luggage comes as standard on that. Although it is about £1,000 more, roughly-ish. But you get the luggage. So, with luggage, the Honda's actually cheaper. It's a nice route, this, Cali. Oh, I have been down here before, I remember that little bit there. You whack that in second gear, it's ridiculous. Lovely corners, those. Do you know what? Those brakes are starting to feel better already. I just tried pulling them on quite sharp a few times there when we were cracking on, when I had the cameras off. Either maybe I've just got used to them, or I don't know what's happened, but they just feel better. They feel a bit more precise now. Maybe I was just too vague with the lever. No, you do. You just have to haul on them. You have to be very assertive with these brakes. Nationals. Quick shifter is beautiful, and blipper. So these are quite bumpy roads. Suspension's soaking it up fine. It's not plush ride, it's definitely erring on the sportier side, a bit more firm, but it's not horrendous at all. Whew, I'm telling you, this thing is rapid. Sync them up 1, 2, 3. Keeping that in second gear. Oh wow. And just above sort of 6,000 revs and upwards. Oof. But A mode is brutal. I never thought I would say that about a... Oh gee whiz, that's ridiculous. Oh my god. Yeah, A mode is savage. You do not want, if you take a pillion on the back of this in A mode and you're giving it some, I mean giving it some, then they're going to have a grip like blooming Hulk by the end of it. They're going to have extreme faith in you, otherwise they're never going to talk to you ever again if they manage to hold on. Whereas the standard GSX-S felt fun on the road and I felt like I could be reasonably legal on it, this one feels like it's egging me on to go faster and faster and faster. It's not doing anything for me until we get that, but the problem is when you get that, the acceleration of this is really decent, so you're going to be doing big speeds very quickly. Now B mode on roads like this, I've been riding it in B as well, you haven't got this, you've got more of, you haven't got that sudden boom of throttle, of acceleration. It's a little bit more linear, and it's almost, for me, B mode hasn't got enough and A mode is just outright savage. I mean, this is not a bull in a china shop, do not get me wrong. You can tame this beast, no problem, just moderate the throttle. But if you're like me and you like your speed, then this is going to get you into trouble. So that's in B mode now. And watch what happens when I snatch the throttle. See how it just sort of goes rather than like that. It's two big differences. It sounds quite noisy to me around the lid, and I feel a lot of air across the top of my shoulders here. You must be able to get aftermarket screens for the GT, and if you can't, it won't be long before you can. Like on my old GSX S1000s, I'd always have a double bubble screen, so I'd imagine something similar on this would do likewise. It's the first time I've had it in 5th and 6th, I think. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. It does handle nice, I've got to give it that. It really does handle lovely. Very confidence inspiring. So a little bit of motorway work to get us back into London, same as the dual carriageway, same sort of speeds. This is where these mirrors sort of come into their own, I think now, is with a little bit of body movement, you've got great vision behind you and around you. I just don't like the look of them, but the function of them is really quite good. Now this has cruise control. Again, it's weird, you have to hit this button over on the right with your thumb and then set it here, and you push and hold. Oh, that's weird, I don't like that. On other cruise control systems, once you set the speed, you can increase or decrease it usually by pushing these buttons. On the BMWs, I think you have to push them twice to go up 1 mile an hour. On other ones, it's just one push, 1 mile an hour. This one doesn't seem to make any difference if you push up. Okay, that's just gone up 677. Oh, it's horrible. I don't like that at all. I'll turn that off. I really don't like that. It's not well designed at all. And that is really weird, having the cruise control button over on the right here, which is a bit of a struggle to get to with your thumb, yet the buttons to sort of set it and fiddle about with the speed are over on the left. Why not just have them both here with your left thumb? I don't like that. Right, we'll see you when we get into town. So showing 45.1 average MPG, 240 miles. It's been a good day today, I've enjoyed it. So folks, if you want to see my review of the Honda NT1100 to give it a little bit of a comparison, make sure you check that out up here. A huge thanks to Nick and the team over at John's of Romford. Make sure you check them out. And so folks, keep doing your thing, look after those that you love, get on out there whenever you can, but most importantly, live your life. Woo-ha!